Shalom, family. So once again, I come back with a timely message, a message our people need to hear, a message our people need to understand. You know, many of our people right now, we're facing many tough challenges, many difficult situations because of different reasons, different circumstances. We all have some type of issue we're dealing with. Some issues are tougher than others. But as you see on the screen, no matter how hard the situation is, giving up is not an option. We can't give up, no matter what the situation looks like, no matter how dark it looks. You know, we have these times that we go through problems, trials, tribulations. We will see, this was promised to us, but it's how we deal with these problems and situations. You know, each one of us, we will deal with them differently, but we have to understand our people been through some tough times, a lot of hardships, a lot of tough times that we don't deal with. Worse, you know, many of our people, Yahusep was thrown in prison. He was thrown listen, his brothers, you know the story, they sold him into slavery. And here was a righteous man, righteous, may I add, righteous. We have to understand this. You hadn't done anything. It's possible you hadn't done anything and hardship will fall upon you. So hardship fell upon him, but it was all part of the Most High's plan. You said, but how can this be a part of his plan? You don't know what I'm going through. I'm going through a tough time here. Well, look at what our forefathers went through. Yahushua was sold into prison. He was into slavery. His brothers threw him in a deep precipice. He was left there. They didn't, you know, he could have died. There were scorpions. There were dangerous, poisonous serpents in this hole. But yet, beyond everything he'd been through, it was all a part of the Most High's plan. So what you're going through is all a part of the Most High's plan. He has to take us through different things to get us to certain points in our lives. And Yahusep, he took Yahusep through all of that in order to set him up, to make him second in command in all of Egypt, to set us up for where we at today. It was an orchestrated plan by the Most High. So this message, we look like we're in a bad position. Again, the people looking at us from the outside, it looks like we are in a bad position. We left families, those that's within the borders. We left everything. And it looks like we're in a bad situation. It looked like, what are you doing? It looked like all hope is lost. And the people that don't understand what's going on, they can't see the Most High's plan. You see, we look horrible to them. But when we stay with the Most High's plan, things work out in our favor. All right, let's go into this. Exodus 16, 1 through 16. And we should know this story. We should know this story like the back of our hand. This is Torah here. And they journeyed from Elim and all the congregation of the children of Yasharal to the wilderness of Sin. Remember, this is not S-I-N, it's Sin. When I first read it, before I learned Hebrew, I thought it was Sin, but it's not. Which is between Elim and Sinai on the 15th day of the second month after they departed from the land of Egypt. Then the whole congregation of the children of Yasharal complained against Moshe and Aaron in the wilderness. All right, we have to zero in on this because they were in a situation and they looked bad. It looked horrible. They looked like they were in a bad position. They looked like they was about to, what are you doing? You left food, shelter to go where? To nowhere? In the middle of nowhere? And this what they did. In the middle of all these rocks and mountains? In the desert, no trees? This is what they did. No water, no food. They was in a bad situation. And the children of Yasharal complained against Moshe and Aaron. Now we have to understand, this is what we're facing today. One of the first things I did when my family and I came within the borders, we hit these wilderness scripture. We hit them. We went into them. We dissected them. We went deep into them. This prepares you for the wilderness. If you don't do this, you won't make it. You will not make it. Preparation has to be made. Coming over here is one thing. Going into the wilderness is another. And so there must be preparation. You must be prepared. Your mind must be prepared. Your body must be prepared. If you're not in shape, you need to get in shape. And you're in the place, if you're within the borders, you're in the place to lose weight, to get in shape. Because you will notice the food is different. You're going to notice that. So they complain. One thing we have to understand, we can't be complaining. We can't go in the wilderness and start complaining. We have to learn from this. And we're not going to be treated no differently than they were. Guess what? We're going to hunger. We're going to thirst. We're going to be tired. And some, you're going to want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go back to where we came from. I keep it before my family. Any that's in the borders, within the borders, right now, we're in a much better position than this wilderness. So we have to learn not to complain. And the children of Yasharal said to them, oh, look what they said. Oh, that we had died by the hand of Yahuwah in the land of Egypt. Why didn't he? They were saying even death was better than this wilderness. Make sure you understand what they're saying. Death was better than this wilderness. This wilderness is terrible. It's horrible. But it's the journey. It's the trip they had to take. And they fought against it. You're going to see they didn't want to do this. This is something they didn't want to do. And our people don't want to come out of her. They think that's hard. No, this is it. This wilderness is it. This wilderness will make or break you. And if you haven't been studying, if you're not prepared, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb and you will fall by the wayside. You're going to find out. The wilderness will show and teach us how serious this matter is. It's nothing to be played with. We can't take it lightly. We had to seek him 10 times more. We can't take that lightly. In the Most High, he's doing different things. I've said it before and I say it again. He's doing different things with different families. It depends on your family, what he's doing with you and your family. And I can't stand in the way of it. I refuse to stand in the way. If the Most High is dealing with you and have to mold and shape you, I can't get in the way of it. Moshe couldn't get in the way of what they were doing, what the Most High was doing to the people. So they said if they had died in the land of Egypt, it would have been better if they had died in the land of Egypt. When they sat by the pots of the meat, they're thinking about the food they had. Remember, Egypt was better than the wilderness. Okay, we came out of America. People saw, darn, oh my goodness, America, looking at it from a weak mindset. America was better than where we at within the borders. Let's go back to America. We can't even understand these people. They're speaking Arabic. Not many speak English. We can't understand. Complaining, murmuring. And so many of us go back into America. Many of us came within the borders and went back into America. So they had their mind on going back. And this is what our people do. They're thinking about the meats in Egypt when we ate bread and was full. See, right now, the people in the borders, we're eating food and full. But this eating food and full, this will not happen in the wilderness because the Most High will have to teach us some things. For you have brought us into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. We're going to hunger. We're going to hunger in the wilderness. This is a fact. Be ready. I mentioned before, and our people don't understand the deepness and the severity of this. The times are, listen, this is not Christianity. This is no camp meeting. This is no ordinary camp. This is not no camp. This is not no man-made thing. This is what I'm trying to say. See, all your camps, that's man-made. Christianity, that's man-made. They belong to the church. They belong to the enemy. I told you who the church is. But people say they're awake. They're still saying they are a part of the church. You see, these people, they never left the church. They're still in the church. They said they left the church, but they're still there. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, behold, I will rain bread from Shamayim for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quarter every day, that I may test them, that whether they will walk in my Torah or not. This is a testing time. So we have to understand it. We have to understand, even when you come within the borders, I told you, I gave the secret away. When you come into the borders, congratulations, here come the test. I know this from experience. Every family member that came out in my family, we were tested severely and still being tested. And I'm not lying. I'm not making this stuff up. Did I tell you our test? I told you before. No. We suck it up. We dealt with it. You're going to be tested. When you get off that plane within the borders, you will be tested. The test begins. And when we hit the wilderness, the test will intensify. So if you can't handle this test, many couldn't. They couldn't handle this test. And they're gone. They went back. You won't be able to handle the test in the wilderness. And it shall be for you the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring. And it shall be twice as much as they gather daily, teaching them how to keep Shabbat, showing them the order here. 6th day, not when the moon in the sky. There's the slither of the moon. No, the 6th day. Then Moshe and Aaron said to the children of Yasharah, at evening you shall know that Yahuwah has brought you out of the land of Egypt. So when we came over, we should know. And he's shown us signs. We should know who brought us out of the land of America, the wicked land. Yet I get a report that some of our people that came within the borders didn't know who brought them out. That's why they're back in her. When the Most High asks you a question, you're within the borders, and he asks you a question, who told you to come out? Don't you go, I don't know, I can't tell you. You make sure, see, this is a person that don't have a close, they didn't develop their relationship with the Most High. It was the Most High that commanded us to come out of her, my people. And if you can't answer that, then yeah, I see why you're back in Babylon. Back in Babylon. I see why. We don't know who brought us out. When they came out of you haven't studied this? When they came out of when they came out of Egypt, they didn't know who brought them out. So he had to do signs and wonders. He says, you will know who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the splendor of Yahuwah. And he hears your complaints against Yahuwah. He hears our complaints. He hears when we're complaining about different things. How is it? We haven't learned yet from what's been written. We're supposed to learn from the past and not repeat it. But here we are today repeating what already happened in the past. And these people were punished. The Most High had to punish them for what they did. We don't know this by now. We're still struggling. We're still wondering Who brought us out?